To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, at this time, we're called to order. We're going to go to the agenda. We're going to, you have a copy of the agenda in front of you. Do I have a motion to approve it?
So moved.
Got a motion by Dr. Strickland?
Second.
Second by Mr. Worley. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it, the motion's approved, the agenda's adopted. All right, you also have before you the minutes from the June the 9th meeting. Do I have a motion to adopt them? Got a motion by Ms. Grice, second by Mr. Enzer. Do we have any discussion, changes, or anything on them? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, the ayes have it, the motion's carried, the minutes are adopted. At this time, we will go to public comments, and we'll let Mr. Thompson handle that for us tonight.
I need to just come rolling in right in the nick of time.
All right, speak of
Right in the nick of time.
meeting him, and he shows up. And we are to public comments, Mr. Phipps, so you're up.
And Mr. Chairman, we have one speaker, Mr. Gavin Kennedy.
All right.
My name is Gavin Inman. I started a petition about 3 days ago, and it's got almost 600 signers. I've been in contact with the principal at West Columbus, Mr. John Browning, and I'm trying to inquire about maybe getting a memorial or renaming the field or something to honor Mr. Devin Mason, who was tragically killed last week. He played football out there for 4 years, attended the school. They all know him. I was a pallbearer at the funeral, and I had letters poured in because I told everybody I was going to come out here and speak to you guys and see if there was anything I could do to get some kind of memorial out there for him. I just wanted to talk to y'all and see if there was anything I could do to try to memorialize him out there. So when his son goes out there and plays football, he'll know his daddy played football out there. And his wife and his mother and all of them can see it.
We have a board policy for the name. If you will look on our website, you can see that. You can, you will be able to tell what the regulations are and everything. We can't actually respond to you in the public comments, but I can tell you that if you'll look on there, you'll find something concerning naming and in honor of. And if you can look at that and get some idea, if you have any questions, you can call me as the board attorney, you can call the superintendent, and we can assist you with the routes or how you would proceed on that, okay?
Okay.
Thank you very
I
much for
appreciate
your
it. Thank you
presentation.
for your time.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, at this time, we have no special presentations. We'll go to curriculum, instruction, and accountability.
Okay, so Mr. Chairman, number one, we have a review and action on services contract between Columbus County Schools and Public Impact LLC. Public Impact provides the training for our advanced teacher roles, our opportunity culture. That funding has been allocated, so that expires at the end of this year. If you have any additional questions when we get to that point, Ms. Hunter is also available, but it's basically the contract that we have completed every year with Public Impact. So, Mr. Chairman, I recommend at this time that the board approves the contract between Columbus County Schools and Public Impact LLC.
You've heard the recommendation of the superintendent that we approve the contract between Columbus County Schools and Public Impact LLC. What's the pleasure of the board?
So moved.
Got a motion by Dr. Strickland? Second. Second by Ms. Grice. Any discussion?
I know we're expanding to additional schools this coming year. How many? 4 more?
4 more.
Okay. I know I saw something about Hallsboro.
So we have Hallsboro, Old Dock, West Columbus High School and Williams Township.
Okay. How many positions at each location?
So that would be based on their enrollment
Uh-huh.
and the availability of finding qualified candidates. So I would have to get back with you on the exact
fine.
number of personnel, but we have spoken to the principals. We've met with the principals. They are aware that, this funding does expire at the end of the year, so they would have to be able to maintain this initiative if it's not renewed with the state. We do not know yet whether or not they will approve it and
Going
extend.
forward, right.
That's correct. So we have made it very clear that with this endeavor, they would be responsible for picking up that cost. So we're bringing those 4 schools on this year.
Okay. Will those, and I know it's obviously a funding issue, are we talking those positions being full release or partial release?
Okay, so that's a combination of the two. If you want to come up, yeah, that's fine. That's a combination of the two. So basically, that's at the discretion of the principal in collaboration with Ms. Hunter and myself. But if you want to add anything, Ms. Hunter, go ahead.
So Old Doc is adding 1 MCL position, and it's a partial release MCL position supporting kindergarten and first grade. Hallsborough Artesia is adding 4 MCL positions. They're all partial release, 1 supporting first and second, kindergarten, first grade, 1 supporting second and third grade, and then 2 supporting fourth through sixth grade ELA and math. Williams Township is adding 2 positions,
yep.
Both of which are full release. 1 is full release, 1 is partial release. 1 is supporting essentially second, third grade, and fourth grade, reading particularly, and the other is supporting middle school ELA and math. West Columbus High School is adding 1 position. It's partial release, and it's supporting math only at the high school level.
Okay.
Did I hit everybody? Yeah.
Yep, you did.
So are we filling these positions with new candidates, or are we moving teachers around? I'm really worried about moving teachers into these positions and then not having the funding to keep this going. And then are we got a game plan to cover that?
So all of the positions that are being filled right now are filled from within the school. The ones, so they all are kind of part of a teacher allotment for the school. Those positions that have been moved into full release, they are a teaching position. So if the funding for this went away, the teaching position would still be in place, and that person would revert back to a classroom position.
Okay.
Right.
All right.
And we've basically just, as I said earlier, in conjunction with us, we've taken into consideration how that looks at each school based on what the principal presents. So they pretty much pick whether or not it's full release or partial.
And of course, that's based on data that we've gathered.
Right.
So
We need to target those.
each individual school has a team that has met multiple times over the winter and spring with the team from Opportunity Culture, as well as myself and Mr. Falk. And we've looked at the whole landscape of their school, what their data trends have been for the past couple of years, where there are opportunities to capitalize on growth, but also to fill in some achievement gaps. So every school's design looks different based on the needs of the
What they
particular
have.
school.
What they need.
But we should have better data by August, September to
Well-
understand whether we've been successful already with MCLs
With
or not.
MCLs.
So as soon as all of our learning data is approved by the State Board of Education and released, we should have achievement data and growth data and be able to correlate that to these MCL positions. This initial design plan has in place a 2-year plan to monitor and growth for MCLs that is attached to the growth metrics for the students that they support. So each of these MCLs share a portion of that EVOS data for every student.
Yeah, and that was part of the plan to be tracked from the very beginning, right?
Correct.
That is correct.
Yep.
Have we been successful with MCLs with new beginning teachers? Or are we even looking at it like that?
So Our
Would it-
BTs are supported through so many different
Different ways,
mechanisms.
it's hard
It would be
to
difficult to
different- it would
tease
be-
out
yeah.
which mechanism is the most support, because we
Right.
have our BT program, we have our district instructional coaches, and we have our MCLs. And all of those people pour into our BTs to help them be successful. So it's difficult to know which is the most impactful, but we definitely know that all of those, with their forces combined, are successful in supporting our BTs.
Well, we know that the MCL program at the schools that we had this past year, it was the first year.
Correct.
So if we see a spike, can we attribute it to that?
It would depend on the number of BTs that were in each of those programs being supported.
Okay.
But they do receive plenty of support.
And they need
do.
plenty of support.
If we're going to retain them, they need plenty
do.
of support.
Exactly.
We go above and beyond because we want to grow our teachers, and most importantly, we want to retain them.
So the partial release, is these MCLs helping in middle school any? Do we have any?
So the MCLs that are in place in middle school are at West Columbus School, Tabor City School, and we're adding on. We're adding on. I just got distracted there. Adding on Williams Township.
Williams Township.
Township's going to have a full-time, full release MCL to support middle school. Tabor City has a partial release MCL that supports math. And at West Columbus School, they will now have a full release MCL that supports middle school. In addition, at Hallsborough Artesia and at Acme Delco, they have a 6th grade program. Both of those programs will have an MCL that supports ELA and math. So we're putting a lot of kind of support into our middle school program because they need a lot of support.
I'm going to ask the question before Ms. Grice does. Why is East Columbus Middle School not on there?
East Columbus opted not to participate in Opportunity Culture this year.
Last thing, and then I'm done with it. So why do the teachers do not like the partial release?
So I think it depends on the schedule, right? So Acme Delco Elementary implemented an opportunity culture this year with 4 partial release MCLs in place and had a very successful implementation because they managed their schedule very successfully. And those MCLs were also pleased with their progress and were able to target their supports with a handful of teachers instead of spreading themselves off across multiple grade levels.
Does a partial still have their own classroom and students?
Yes.
Because when it was presented, I don't remember it being presented that way, and I may be wrong, that the partial was going to have their own group of kids they had to take care of. From what I remember, they were going to be able to work between them. They had to teach so many hours a day for those other classes, but I don't remember, maybe I missed a boat, that they were going to. That's what I hear, is they don't like being responsible for their whole classroom and the other duties they're having to do.
I think
I've heard the same thing. That's why, and I've been saying for 6 months, I think we would be better served having those as full release, but we
Again,
need the data to support it.
That's
I think
correct.
it's all about the schedule, right?
Okay.
So the places that have been the most successful have leveraged their planning and scheduling appropriately. In places where they've allowed me to push in and help them to build their schedule so that it allows for appropriate release of teachers at the right times, they've been really successful. I would say that there are some sites that had full release that didn't necessarily leverage that person, right? So it really comes down to scheduling.
I think the partial would be better because it is small group. You're targeting one section of teachers, one grade, one whatever. If we can figure out how to get those teachers comfortable with, like you said, the schedule, and that they don't feel like they're manning the shit by themselves.
I agree. So when I talk with partial release teachers that are embedded in a grade level that they're supporting, or embedded in a grade level and supporting either down a grade level or up a grade level, they have really rich conversations in planning because they're in it with those teachers, right? They're in the game. And they leverage small group instruction across multiple classrooms, so kids flex between classrooms based on what is needed, as opposed to full release, which kind of takes on a more of a traditional instructional coaching model. And those teachers are not necessarily in the game in the same way that a partial release is. Yeah.
Any more discussion?
One more,
Here-
excuse me, I'm sorry, one more time. Will you tell me what schools since we're adding, what
Sure.
schools do we have that are putting this in place?
So in phase 1 of implementation, we had Acme Delco, Chadburn Elementary School, West Columbus School, and Tabor City.
Right,
In phase 2 of implementation,
which is this year.
which is this year, we have Old Dock, Hallsborough Artesia, Williams Township, and West Columbus High School. The grant that we wrote was a 3-year grant and allows for 11 out of our 12 schools to onboard into opportunity culture. CCCA doesn't qualify because they're an innovative high school already. So theoretically, if we went to a phase 3 implementation, the other schools that were not CCCA would onboard. The reason why we did not allow Nakina to onboard this year is because we really were interested in building a sustainability model into this program. So if this grant were to go away, and if the additional money for stipends for us, advanced teaching roles were to go away because legislatively they were not allocated for, we wanted there to be a sustainability plan already in place at a school, so the school could pick up the additional cost if needed. And Nakina's enrollment is so small, they don't have enough Title I funds to be able to do that successfully and pay for the positions that they need in order to educate the children in the building. So that is a factor moving into phase 3.
Thank you so much for
Sure.
explaining that.
I should also tell you that we were really mindful of Acme Delco and Hallsborough Artesia's plans, knowing that those two schools are going to merge in 2 years. We wanted to make sure both of their plans mirrored each other, and that those principals were talking to each other and those MCLs were working together so that those plans would complement each other and not compete with each other as those schools merged.
It's a good thought process.
Yeah.
Thanks for your explanations.
Thank you, Ms. Hunter.
Okay, now any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
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 All opposed, ayes have it. The contract between Public Impact LLC and Columbus County Schools is approved.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, next on the agenda, we have review and action on the North Carolina Department of Human and Health Services, Division of Child Development and Early Education, and it is our pre-K contract. It is for a total of $1,811,710, excuse me. $130,152 from the state, $819,957 from federal money, and then $861,601 from other funds, which would be our lottery funds. So, Mr. Chairman, I would recommend that the board approve the contract between NCDHHS and Columbus County Schools for our pre-K program.
Heard the recommendation of the superintendent that we approve the contract between the North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services and Columbus County Schools. What's the pleasure of the board?
So move.
Got a motion by Mr. Worley,
Second.
second by Ms. Grice. Any discussion?
How are we using lottery funds for pre-K?
Those are in the allotment. That's what we have a list that's other funds, so we inquired about that today, and it was determined that that was lottery funds.
Okay. I didn't think we could use lottery funds for instruction.
That's what the state sends us for pre-K.
Okay,
So the state can use it, we just can't use it.
right.
The state can do what they want to do.
So it's not, Mr. Beck, explain that
just-
to me a little better.
Okay, so which part?
The lottery funds and where
Okay,
that's
so
coming from.
in the grant or in the contract, you will see an other.
Right.
So I inquired to find out what the other was, and the explanation I received was that those funds did in fact come from our educational lottery.
But it's not part of,
It's not part of the lottery funds that we receive as a district for.
That's my
Okay.
question.
Right,
yep,
no.
exactly.
So it's a
So it's not
different
going
set
to
of-
affect our lottery funds.
No, it
Yes,
wouldn't, it would not, it would not have an impact on our lottery funds, no.
Okay,
Perfect.
I had the same initial question that you had.
thank you for your explanation and for digging into that.
Any more discussion? Hearing none. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it. The motion's carried. The contract between NCDHHS and the Columbus County Schools is approved.
Okay, next, Mr. Chairman, we have. Get my papers.
Attendance policy.
Yeah, I got it right here. All right, so next we have review and action on an attendance policy for Columbus County Schools. We're going to update our policy. I want to bring an emphasis to chronic absenteeism. Columbus County Schools placed a major emphasis on chronic absenteeism last year, and I am proud to say that we improved our attendance by about 9.7% across the board. So we did see a significant increase in our attendance rate. So this policy would help bolster that, and it basically, in grades K through 8, of course, we would use MTSS if students were missing school and were referred to MTSS. That would be the first line of defense. And then, of course, if they miss more than 10% of the days enrolled, grade retention will be considered due to a lack of mastery as a result of chronic absenteeism. For grades 9 through 12, excused, unexcused, or suspended for more than 10% of the days enrolled, and that would be per semester. They would also be at risk of not mastering the content standards. These students may be referred for academic and/or attendance interventions within the MTSS program, but they also would be in subject to an attendance-based failure. So those are the major changes to our attendance policy. So, Mr. Chairman, I recommend that the board approve the attendance policy for the 25-26 school year as presented.
You've heard the recommendation of the superintendent that we approve the new attendance policy or the amended attendance policy for Columbus County Schools. What's the pleasure of the board?
So moved.
Got a motion by Dr. Strickland.
Second.
Second by Mr. Enzer. Any discussion?
I'll ask first, on field trips sponsored by the school.
Right.
Should someone who's chronically absent and has missed more than the number of days, should they be eligible for that?
So the practice that we have historically had, because it is an educational field trip tied to
Okay.
an academic standard, then they would be allowed to participate.
Okay.
We
As
have-
long as it's tied to an academic standard, I am good with it. But if
Correct.
it's,
But
well, I
like if
know
it's
in
a
the past we
PBIS
had to-
reward or something, they
Yeah,
wouldn't qualify
PBIS
anyway,
reward.
correct?
Right, they wouldn't, that's right, they wouldn't
Okay.
qualify anyway.
All right, that's what I was
and if
asking
it's-
about.
Right, and if it's not something like a PBIS reward, whatever, it's always going to have an academic standard tied to it.
Okay.
That's a requirement.
Any more discussion?
Just one question, just for clarification. If they meet the requirement for what you refer to as FF, the attendance-based failure, but their grade was above that, the teacher doesn't assign the grade, but that overrides it, the attendance, is that correct?
That is correct. That is absolutely correct. And then they could do an appeal to the principal, and ultimately it would wind up with the superintendent.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure it overrides it. Thank you.
That is
So
correct.
we could have a senior that totally qualifies academically to graduate, but not graduate because they missed too many days.
Well, you would hope that would not be the case, but that could be a possibility. You would hope that the rigor in the classroom is at a level that if a student misses too many days, their
It's gonna show
grades,
up in their
their
grades.
grades would reflect that. Now, I realize that they have 5 days to make up work. I get that, but We want students in school. As I said earlier, our attendance did improve by about 9.75%. Also, our discipline, which we're not talking about that in policies, but our discipline also decreased by about 9.5%. So our goal is to keep students in school, and I think this policy will, help accomplish that.
I think you'll probably see double-digit improvement.
I
think it'll send a message.
I do as well.
I'm 100% for it.
Because Mr. Thompson and I both were at the high school level when a policy very similar to this was in place, and it did make a difference.
And they can appeal to the principal as well. So in the case of a senior, then that senior could appeal to the principal, and then as well superintendent if.
Right. And we could have some alternative measures that they could take to recoup that credit. But, I think this policy is moving in the right direction for student attendance.
Well, it puts some teeth into attendance,
Exactly.
the attendance requirement.
That is correct.
So on that note, because it seems like our parents, our students have gotten comfortable with absenteeism, what is the best way we as a board make sure our community, our parents realize, okay, things are changing. You're getting ready to be held accountable, other than
We get the word out.
the news report.
We,
Saw me pointing, didn't
Yeah,
you?
we get the
not
word out.
everybody reads it, sorry to say.
But also, Mr. Jones is very great at getting things out on social media. So we will make certain that all parents are informed of this new policy
Oh, it needs
and
to be
that
a-
all
it needs-
students.
Yeah, it needs to be part of
An orientation.
orientation/open
Right.
house.
And it would be because at orientation/open house, they do go over, they always go over the handbook.
Right.
So any major change like this would be gone over with the parents at open house. But we will make certain that the information,
More than just handed to them.
no, exactly.
As they walk in
It
the
will be
door.
readily available, but
Like-
it will be actually covered with them.
Shouldn't be an excuse because there's multiple outlets.
Exactly. That is correct.
But
Yep.
that outlet with the open house needs to be highlighted and it needs to be.
And
I
that,
would
and that will
almost-
be my job, because I'll make sure I will speak with each principal, and the expectation will be that they actually take the time to go over these new policies with the parents.
Yeah, I mean, especially the cell phone policy and the attendance policy.
That is correct.
Would that be
So-
on like the messages that they get from the school?
Yes.
Possibly?
Yep.
As well?
Mr. Jones, you want to say, we have lots of platforms, and if I start naming them, I'll miss one. But yes, it would be on
App
the,
being one, yeah.
yeah, it would be on Remind, it would be on the Facebook page, it would be on the call-out system, and the list goes on and on.
I think it covers it.
The information is out there, I assure you.
So I don't want to camp out on this open house thing, but we've got to be very specific on what our open house looks like. I'm not sure what it looks like in the other high schools, but do all of our schools have some sort of assembly for open house?
Initially, they typically do. They address, I know at the high school level they do. They address, now at some of your elementary schools, we'll probably need to revamp the
Not
way
just
they
a
do.
walk in, walk
That's
through, meet
correct.
teachers and walk
Yep.
out.
That
but
is
a-
correct.
An
Yep.
assembly where we're
at
sitting
your
down,
high
listening
schools,
to our
yeah.
principal.
That is correct.
And even at the elementary schools, when they do a walk-in and walk-out, they have a packet that the
That's
teacher
right,
goes
and the
over with
teacher.
the parents
Yep.
whenever they come in.
Or you almost.
Is the general
these-
practice.
These new major policies that we're gonna have in place, they need to be highlighted. It doesn't need to be, there needs to be a sheet on top of it that says, I wanted to bring your attention to these big policy changes that are going into place with this school year.
Correct.
And it needs to
It
be
doesn't just
verbally
need to be
reviewed.
buried into a student handbook.
And we will make sure that it is not.
Thank you.
These actual policies will be covered with the parents and
In
the
red
students.
print.
That is correct.
Bold red.
I will make certain of it.
NC State bold red.
There you go, sir.
And not Clemson orange.
So we're under the assumption that we have a 95% turnout of parents at open houses.
So, in a perfect world, you would hope that would be the case, but that's not always going to be the case. But there are ways to reach parents, and if we have to make phone calls, we will do so. If we have to send out social workers, we will do that as well. This is a team effort. Our goal is to improve attendance, And we'll go above and beyond as we did this year
Our
to get
goal's
to that
not
point.
just to improve attendance. Our goal is to improve testing
Academic
and
performance.
academic performance.
Which starts with attendance.
Starts with attendance.
Right.
but-
And that's what I
It's
meant
the
by
whole,
that.
Yeah.
the whole.
That's what I
ball
meant
of
by that
wax.
statement.
Social,
Yeah.
Yeah,
social
I mean, all of it.
environment, all of that. If they're not
But the
there,
number
you
one
can't
thing,
go.
the number one thing is you've got to get the child in school.
Right.
That's right.
Agree.
Any more discussion? Hearing none. All in favor of the new attendance policy, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The ayes have it, the new attendance policy is approved. We'll move to the cell phone policy.
Okay, so Mr. Chairman, we were in the process of working on this cell phone policy when House Bill 959 was passed. So this policy is in direct alignment with House Bill 959. It has been reviewed by Mr. Phipps to verify that. And the purpose of this policy is to create a phone-free school environment that fosters a positive learning experience free from electronic distractions.
And that is straight from Governor Stein.
That is correct. And that will be during the instructional day. Our high school students, of course, you guys have had the opportunity to read this. Our high school students will use the Yonder pouches. We have that training set up for the principals, so that will take place shortly. Middle school students, elementary students will power off their devices or accessories, and they will remain in their book bags during the instructional day. Now, we do have some exceptions for medical purposes and also for emergencies. So, Mr. Chairman, I mean, my recommendation is that the board approve the new cell phone policy.
You've heard the recommendation of the superintendent that we approve the new cell phone policy. What's the pleasure of the board?
So moved.
Got a motion by Dr. Strickland. Second by Mr. Enzer. Any discussion?
Remind me, Mr. Beck, what we decided with a school like East Columbus, where we've got middle school and high school students on the same campus, the middle school policy applies to that group. They're not following the high school policy.
That is correct.
Okay.
I thought we made the decision.
We purchased 1,800 Yonder pouches, so that's where we stand currently.
So we still got 300. We've got what, 1,500? Well,
You got,
you got CCCA as well, so.
Yep. So we started with the high school.
I'm afraid we're going to end up having to move it to the middle school as well.
I agree. And that will be our next
Because that's
step.
going to be our biggest problem.
Yep.
Especially in a setting, and it may be that we need to really think about how we're going to do this at East, because you've got some of those middle school students who are in classes, some of them are in classes with some high school students,
Right.
from what I understand. So,
Well,
So
it's-
what is the problem? We have a policy that says the middle school students are not to have their phones at all.
Powered off.
Powered off. It's not supposed to be, it's supposed to be in their bag, everybody they're taking care of it. So I don't see where, it's not like this middle school kid's gonna be sitting there with their phone goading this high school kid. If they are, then they need to be, disciplined.
we've had a policy in place before that obviously there was trouble.
So it's,
Unequal enforcement is
Yeah.
going to be.
and that's,
Enforcement is the issue.
you just hit the nail on the head, Mr. Strickland. The expectation is that this policy be enforced, and the two of us will make sure that that is the case.
Well, there's got to be accountability.
That is correct.
I mean, I hate to say this, but there's got to be accountability at the teacher level for enforcement of the policy.
Mm-hmm. That is correct, sir.
And the
leading
principal
by
level
example.
on enforcement on the
Right.
teachers.
And I will say this as well. During our administrative retreat, all of the questions that the board is asking will be discussed, and principals
Sure.
will be trained on these policies, and they will know the expectations from central services, as well as the board.
Within the first week, I bet all 5 of us receive a phone call that says, you have a cell phone policy, but little Johnny continually is disrupting my child because of their cell phone.
And when that occurs, I will assure you that I will address it personally.
It's going to happen,
I
so
will
be
address it.
prepared.
You just,
inevitable, but-
you just
Right.
let me know.
But does this policy not a better one? And the
Yes.
policy
It is
we had
better.
Before,
Yes,
it was not written in a way that we
That's
had any
right.
teeth to it. So
that's correct.
It's
a big
better.
difference.
I
That's
think
the-
you'll
that's
have
the
more
difference.
Awareness because it's at the state level as well, and there's a lot of expectations. I would
That's
think.
right.
And a lot of publicity on that right now.
That is
too.
correct.
Right. But what's going to happen is the kid's going to go to lunch, they're going to have their phone on, and they're going to come back, and they're going to forget to turn their phone off.
Oh, I agree.
Well, that,
Or a kid's going to, and I know we keep them separate at East, but it's going to be seen at East.
so we have a discipline policy in place with this?
Have we added?
We are,
Yes.
we will
Yes.
have, yes,
Okay.
we have. It will-
Okay.
It's
Plenty of
forthcoming.
examples.
I know it's
It's-
forthcoming.
it's
You got to get
forthcoming.
this in place first.
That is correct.
Yep.
But we do have, things in place in the student handbook to handle that situation.
Okay.
Primarily, you're talking about the parent would be required to come to the school to pick up the phone and meet with the principal at a time designated by the principal.
And we browbeat the principals and the teachers and everybody else, but it's, the kids and parents are gonna have to take responsibility.
Yeah. We
That's
need parent-
Totally agree.
We need the
We,
parents' help
we
on
need
this.
everyone's support because we need an academic environment that is free from distractions.
Absolutely.
And that's the purpose, that's the sole purpose of this policy.
The Senate Bill
959.
959. Does it require the devices to be powered off, or does it require no devices in the school? Because I can't remember. Or does it not even distinguish the difference?
I don't know if it uses
I don't
that
think it
verbiage, but I
does.
will tell you this, as I was going through this process, I can tell you that an attorney from Campbell and Shatley told us verbatim that, yes, you can ban cell phones from the classroom, and it does not have to be with the use of a yonder pouch.
So,
So yes, we can require them to power them off, put them away, and during the instructional day, they cannot use those phones. In essence, you're banning them from the instructional day.
okay. All right.
Okay,
I'm
any
good.
more discussion?
I'm good.
Hearing none. All in favor of the cell phone policy, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The ayes have it. The cell phone policy is approved. We'll move to our field trip policy.
Okay, so, Mr. Chairman, next we have our field trip policy, and we have made an amendment to this policy. If you look at number 13, the amendment reads, all students should have a 1-to-10 chaperone ratio. Staff should sleep in close proximity to ensure supervision. Staff may never sleep in the same room with a student. Parents serving as chaperones may share quarters only with their own child if desired. So, Mr. Chairman, I recommend that the board approve that amendment to our field trip policy.
You've heard the recommendation of the superintendent that we approve the amendment to our field trip policy that's been presented by him. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Got a motion by Ms. Grice,
Second.
second by Dr. Strickland. Any discussion?
Chaperones, just a quick question. If we have a chaperone, is their room paid for by the school? Or is it their responsibility?
So
Yes,
that,
we've left that
pro-
up to the
that's
principal.
probably on a case-by-case basis based on the field trip and the school.
Okay. And my thought there is, okay, if we've got 4 students in a room and a parent decides that their child's gonna stay with them, that's the only child, so we're going from 4 to 2. So is that gonna incur an additional cost at the school level? That's why I'm asking that. So,
It could possibly.
yep.
Okay.
Do it for me.
Okay. Any more discussion? Hearing none. All in favor of the field trip policy amendment, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The ayes have it. The amendment to the field trip policy is approved. Okay, we'll go on to the aligning the policies.
Okay, so Mr. Chairman, 6, 7, 8, and 9 are based on the spring 2025 policy updates that we received from the North Carolina School Board Association. They do 2 updates a year, one in the fall, one in the spring. We received this email, I think, sometime in the 1st of June. So with that being said, on number 6, I would recommend that the board align policy 1500-4329-7311 to the North Carolina School Board Association's policy 1735-4329-7311. That is the same identical policy, but for some reason in our manual, the number's different than the School Board Association's manual. So this would just basically be in an alignment.
You've heard the recommendation of the superintendent that we align our policy with the policy from the North Carolina State School Board. What's the pleasure of the board?
So moved.
Got a motion by Dr. Strickland,
Second.
second by Mr. Worley. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The ayes have it. So we basically just changed the number on the policy.
That is correct. And then if you look at number 8, Mr. Chairman,
What about 7?
number 7, my apologies. If you look at number 7, we have a review and action on reinstating policy 1760-7280. So that is also in alignment with the April 2025 policy updates from the North Carolina School Board Association. So I would recommend that the district reinstate policy 1760/7280.
You've heard the recommendation of the superintendent that we reinstate the policy 1760-77-7280 as presented here by him. What's the pleasure of the board?
So moved.
Got a motion by Mr. Worley, second by Mr. Enzer. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it. The motion's reinstated. The policy's reinstated.
Okay, thank you, sir. Mr. Chairman, number 9 is the actual comprehensive list of
Wait
the
a minute,
spring.
we got 8 here.
PLS update.
Okay, so the PLS update and the spring policy updates are one and the same. That is the Campbell and Shatley information, and then the other is the North Carolina School Board Association. So it is the one and then the same. It's just 2 different documents.
Okay, so
Okay.
those 7 and 8 are the same thing.
Right.
Okay.
Number 8 is just the vetting that Campbell and Shatley does of the North Carolina School Board Association's
We
updates.
actually don't need to approve it?
No.
Okay.
Well, when we approve the policy updates, we'll approve the entire thing.
Gotcha.
Yep.
All right, number 9.
Okay, so Mr. Chairman, you have a comprehensive list of the spring 25 policy updates. So I recommend that the board approve the North Carolina School Board Association updates for the spring 2025 updates, as well as the Campbell and Shatley policy review and recommendations for the April 2025 spring policy updates.
You've heard the recommendation of the superintendent that we approve the spring 2025 policy updates as presented by the North Carolina State School Board Association. What's the pleasure of the board?
So moved.
Got a motion by Mr. Enzer,
Second.
second by Dr. Strickland. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The ayes have it. The policies are approved.
Thank you, sir.
And we'll go down to auxiliary services.
Mr. Chairman, we have several invoices that we will do a review of information for tonight. I'll do all of them as we go through. The first is an invoice from LS3P for the Eastview Elementary School, invoice number 92959 for a total amount of $146,195.72, and that is for developmental design phase. Second invoice from LS3P is $93,440 for $18,077.18, and that is also for developmental design phase. That puts us to 95% of the developmental design phase paid in full. The next is EA Duncan invoice 25-1010 for in the amount of $494,797. That is for the brick framing, the mezzanine stairs, partial electric, HVAC, and sprinkler systems at Williams Township. Our next is EA Duncan invoice 24-1801 in the amount of $352,895. That's for glass, drywall, and sprinklers at Williams Township as well. We have another by EA Duncan invoice number 24-1806 in the amount of $60,000. That is 20% of the metal structure erection. Also invoice 25-1002 for $240,000 for structure erection, and that is the final payment for the erection of the structure at Williams Township School. EA Duncan invoice 25-1296 in the amount of $155,000. That is for glass, drywall, another draw for sprinklers as well. Last one, EA Duncan invoice 25-1302 in the amount of $130,000 is for painting, final and electrical, and the drop ceilings in the building.
Where are we at total with?
The total that we have spent so far?
Yeah.
Okay, we are at $3,170,279.08. So
Okay.
we're within the last about $620,000.
So we're
remaining.
at greater than 90%.
Oh, yes, yes, sir.
Okay.
What's the projection on completion?
If everything continues to go as smooth as it is, then we should start school in our facility.
Great.
Wonderful. Okay.
Okay.
And that, one last thing, Mr. Chairman, that all is still coming from lottery
Capital.
funds?
Yes, sir.
Capital lottery?
Capital lottery.
Okay. Perfect.
Okay, we're going to move to general items.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, under general items, we have several items to review, so these are all for review of information. We have renewed the Sand Hills Regional Education Consortium invoice, that agreement in the amount of $15,000. We also renewed the North Carolina School Board's Trust, Errors, and Omissions General Liability Fund at a total of $13,889. We renewed the North Carolina School Boards Association Policy Online Renewal for the 25-26 school year in the amount of $11,850. And then we paid the North Carolina School Boards Association dues for the 2025-2026 school year in the amount of $15,920.
And these require no action.
These require no action. This is for informational purposes only.
Okay. All right. We'll move to dates to remember.
Okay, so under dates to remember, we do have our administrative retreat here at Central Services on August the 4th through the 5th, 2025, and we will have our next board meeting August the 11th, 2025 at 5:30 p.m.
Okay, we'll move on. And Mr. Nolan, you're up.
Chair. So the first review and action item is on a proposal for finance support and training. So this contract for school operations specialists is in direct correlation to General Statute 115C 435. In that regard, that is the metrics for a finance officer. It was written into law in 1986 that the General Assembly would have new finance officers go through a 2-year training period. That cost has been, accepted by the state from inception of 1986. Unfortunately, the cost is now shared to the LEA. So that funding was cut with the budget proposals. So therefore, I want to propose the contract for financial support to the board.
And Mr. Chairman, I recommend that the board approve the proposal for financial support and training as presented by Mr. Nolan.
You've heard the recommendation of the superintendent that we approve the contract between school operations specialist and the Columbus County School System for financial support and training. What's the pleasure of the board?
So moved.
Got a motion by Dr. Strickland,
Second.
second by Ms. Grice. Any discussion?
Just one
Didn't-
question, where it's got Dear Dr. Meadows on it, rather than you.
Do you see any issue with that, Mr. Phipps?
I'll have, sorry.
Okay, because this group is the same group that's been providing the services. They just, it's an oversight. They just didn't change the deer.
Some people don't realize that things change.
That is correct.
Well, at the top, they do realize it. They put
Yeah,
your
it's
name.
got
Yeah.
Mr. Beck at the
Yeah.
top.
Just the
Yeah.
greeting.
I can
So if we
always
need
have
to
that
get,
updated.
if we need to get that corrected prior to approval, we can. If it's,
I think you can approve it as is with the modification, with the proposed modification, that it be corrected.
okay, so Mr. Chairman, I recommend that the board approve the proposal with the modification of the Dear Dr. Meadows to Dear Mr. Beck.
I'll amend my motion to that.
Yeah. All right, we have a motion and a second now to the amended, to the amendment to where we change the Dear Dr. Meadows name on it. Any more discussion?
Wasn't this, I'm sorry, Chris, go ahead. You go first.
So it's $125 an hour, is that what,
Yes.
40 hours a month approximately?
Yes, sir.
For
And this
12
was-
months out the year.
Yep, so that's about $60,000.
And this funding was provided to the districts with new finance officers. As Mr. Nolan said, that funding was cut, so now that funding is placed, well, the burden is on the LEA. But he is entitled to 2 years of training as a new finance officer. He's had almost one, so this would, meet that requirement and the statute that he,
Wasn't this listed on our audit as well to continue this? That was recommended?
It was a recommendation.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
That's what I thought.
Yes, sir.
That's all I got, Mr. Long.
Okay. Any more discussion? Hearing none. All in favor of the proposal with school operations specialists, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The ayes have it, the motion's carried. The contract's approved.
All right, thank you, Mr. Chair. And the last item is review and action on the Columbus County Schools Budget Amendment Number 3. This is the final budget amendment for the fiscal year 24-25. I just want to go through that amendment change with you guys to let you know that these amendments were in adjustments to sync our books and records with the state records at the end of the school year. So for Budget Amendment 3, we have a reduction in state expenses of $146,000. We also have the reduction in revenues of $146,000. From a local standpoint, we have additions of expenses of $971, with 0 additions to our revenue. From a federal grant standpoint, we had a net increase of $23,000, or excuse me, approximately $24,000. Revenues increased by that same amount likewise. For our capital fund, child nutrition, there were no amendments to either revenue or expenses for both of those categories. From the other restriction, there were also no adjustments as well. So the main adjustments to our accounts come from a state fund perspective, a local perspective, and our federal grants. And that'll conclude the third budget amendment, sir.
Okay, so Mr. Chairman, I recommend that the board approve Budget Amendment Number 3 as discussed by Mr. Nolan.
You've heard the recommendation of the superintendent that we approve budget amendment number 3 as presented by Mr. Nolan. What's the pleasure of the board?
So moved.
Got a motion by Mr. Worley. Second by Mr. Enzer. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor say aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. The budget amendment number 3 is approved.
Thank you, Mr. Nolan.
Thank you.
We appreciate it.
Now that we've approved it, I do have one question, Mr. Nolan.
Yes, sir.
It's got nothing to do with that. The federal grants funds, are they specifically, all of it, tied down to what we can actually do with them? Is it restricted funds?
Yes, sir. They are restricted grants. They're technically grants from the federal government. They are restricted to the nature of the grant. For example, they're built into different funding categories. For example, our ELA monies are only used for ELA purposes. Title I only to meet Title I purposes. PRC 17 or would only be CTE for that purpose. So yes, to answer your question.
And none of those funds could be used for capital?
For capital? That's correct. No, sir. We cannot utilize those funds for capital.
Thank you.
I did see something pop across the email today from one of the groups in Raleigh. I don't know if it was School Board Association or whomever, but it was something about Josh Stein and State Superintendent having some kind of press release on
They did.
federal funding.
Yeah.
You got it?
A lawsuit.
Ah,
A lawsuit with an interlocutory declaratory judgment for injunctive relief.
Yep. And that would be impacted to migrant funds, Title II, III, and IV, if I'm not mistaken.
So
yeah, I
they
knew it was migrant funds.
they filed a lawsuit.
But there's
against
Title
the federal
II,
government.
III, and IV, which is teacher quality improvement. 3 and 4 is blanking me. I apologize. We just looked up today. I'll get you the names for those.
English language learners.
There you go.
Yep. Yep.
Yep. Yep.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Thank you.
I'm sorry, you know I like to fish, so I was fishing.
You're good. You're good.
All right. At this point, that completes you, Mr. Nolan.
Yes, sir.
Okay, we need a motion for closed session.
I move that Columbus County Board of Education go into closed session in accordance with open meetings law, GS 143-31811A13, to discuss information that is privileged, confidential, or not a public record, or consult with an attorney to preserve the attorney-client privilege between the attorney and the public body.
You've heard, do I have a second?
Second.
Got a motion by Mr. Enzer, a second by Dr. Strickland. All in favor say aye. All opposed, the ayes have it. We're now in closed session.